Welcome to Tallinn, one of the most unique cities in Europe where medieval streets, fascinating history and modern innovation come together. In today's video, I'll take you through its top attractions and layered history, from towering medieval fortresses and the charm of traditional Estonian life to the secrets of KGB surveillance. I will also visit Tallinn's incredible medieval restaurants, stepping back in time to experience their unique atmosphere. It's one of the things to do in Tallinn. My visit to Tallinn was full of amazing surprises, and in this video, I will share them all with you. It's nice that they have heating in the houses and we can still visit. I haven't been this impressed with the tourist attraction in a very long time. It feels like someone just left their house this morning and we just entered their apartment and it's exactly the same as it was back in the... Good morning from the beautiful Tallinn, one of the most well-preserved medieval towns in Europe. Today is an absolutely beautiful day. As you can see, it's sunny. Yes, it is cold. We are now walking towards our first destination, which is Tumpea Hill and the castle. I don't know if you can actually visit the castle. And yeah, so far it's been lovely. This is such a cute town and I think it's so underrated, or at least I haven't heard that much about it. This is my first time in Estonia and this is also my first time in any of the Baltic countries and I'm so impressed. Also, the restaurants here are so nice. That being said, look at this. I'm here with Matt also. Hello. Here's the castle. It was -8 degrees this morning. Tallinn looks so magical in winter and the weather today is perfect with the snow and the sun and the castle and all the medieval buildings. Honestly, it's like a fairy tale. I obviously haven't visited in summer, but it's perfect in winter. This is the Danish King's Garden, a historic courtyard linked to the legend of the Danish flag. According to local stories, during the Battle of Lindenese in 1219, the Danes were losing until a red flag with a white cross fell from the sky, inspiring them to victory. This became the national flag of Denmark. The statues of the hooded monks here represent Tallinn's medieval past, adding to the eerie atmosphere of the garden. The area is surrounded by defensive towers, including the Maiden's Tower and the Kirk in the Cook, which were part of the city's fortifications. After exploring the garden, we visited the Café Maiasmokk Museum, which provides a deeper look into Tallinn's military history and underground bastion tunnels. Built between 1475 and 1483, this is Tallinn's largest medieval cannon tower. Over the centuries, it has served various purposes, from a military stronghold to a museum. One unique aspect of its history is its use as an artist studio. The tower's upper floors once provided a workspace for painters, offering both inspiration and a panoramic view of the city. When you go up, part of the museum is this coffee shop as well. This is such a lovely place. I'm mind blown by the whole medieval vibe. Plus singing Hotel California in a medieval style. Yeah, this really is one of the few places I think I prefer in winter. This is just old cafes and old furniture in cafes and pictures. So nostalgic and lovely. And with the music and everything. And then here, there's a video with people in cafes. Was that in 88?
68.
Oh, 68, yeah. So this is the interior of the cafe that used to be here in the 80s. Before that, there were a few artists living in these towers, but in the 80s they left the towers and they built this cafe. Wow, I'm very nostalgic when it comes to the 80s, even though I haven't lived in the 80s. We opted to visit the tunnels underneath the castle as well. So this is an extra €4 for the ticket. It was definitely worth visiting the castle. The bastion tunnels beneath Tallinn were constructed in the 17th and 18th centuries as part of the city's defensive system. These passages allowed soldiers to move unseen and protect the bastions from undermining during sieges. By the 1850s, as military strategies evolved, the tunnels lost their defensive purpose and were repurposed for storage. During World War II, they served as air raid shelters, safeguarding civilians during bombings. In the Cold War era, the Soviet authorities upgraded them into potential nuclear shelters, equipping them with essentials like bunk beds and ventilation systems. In the 1980s, the tunnels found a new life as a refuge for the underground punk movement. Young Estonians, defying Soviet restrictions, used these spaces for clandestine gatherings, expressing their rebellion through music and art. After Estonia regained independence in 1991, the tunnels were abandoned and became a refuge for the homeless until restoration efforts began in 2004. The underground passage took us to Freedom Square. The museum was definitely worth the visit. Also the tunnels underneath. We're going to Estonian Open Air Museum. We need to take a bus for that. We have now arrived at the Open Air Museum. So from Freedom Square in the center of Tallinn, you need to take a bus for 12 stops. It was not busy at all. I mean, today is Sunday as well. It was really easy to get here. This is actually outside Tallinn. You can see it looks very foresty. And yeah, we're supposed to see traditional houses from all parts of Estonia. And there's also a tavern with traditional food that we're looking forward to trying. So far, I'm really impressed with everything. And here is the map. Oh, this looks huge. It actually feels really cold in this area because it's closer to water and there's a forest and it's -7 degrees. This is so lovely. It's like a proper forest hike. And we are looking at these traditional houses from all parts of Estonia. And it's so nice to see them. I don't know if in the summer they're actually open, because I read on the internet that they might be closed or, you know, restricted to visitors during winter. Yeah, I'm really hoping the tavern is open because ChatGPT recommended a pea soup. And now I'm really set on that, so it would be really disappointing if that's not a thing.
You have arrived at a 2-story apartment building of silicate stones. Today, these buildings have become an important part of our rural landscape. They can be found everywhere, in the hearts of the old manors, in villages and small towns, in the centers of Soviet-era collective farms, but most often near the large barns, pigsties, or poultry houses of these former farms.
You can actually visit the apartments inside. So the ones on the top floor are the oldest apartments. This is so cool to be able to visit. I feel like I'm entering someone's home. Yeah. Like, there's like clothes hanging. This is incredible. I do feel like I'm entering someone's house. Books on the shelves and the TV, and every cupboard has things inside. This is something you would actually find in someone's cupboard, you know, randomly during that time. And also things put on top. It's so on point with everything. Wow. It's exactly the way someone would leave their apartment, you know, on a casual day. There are old records as well. Look at the view and these old curtains and everything. This is incredible, and it's so similar to communist Romania, minus the stove. Wow. I'm pretty sure I've seen a radio like this. This is so authentically made with everything, you know, some things left around. And then here with things hanging in the baby's room, with the clothes on the bed and everything. And yeah, I remember these mirrors as well. I'm fascinated. This is like coming back in time. If anyone from Romania is watching this video, this was so similar to what we're used to from the 90s. I have never been this excited about anything in my life. And this would be the bathroom. And then here's the kitchen. Wow. Honestly, this reminds me so much of my childhood in the 90s because we had a lot of similar items in our grandparents' houses or even our houses in the 90s. Oh, there's even stuff in the fridge. I'm pretty sure I had one of these coffee grinders. Like pretty much exactly the same. These are actually eggshells randomly left here, and this is hot, and this is hot water left on the stove. And this is another bedroom. Again, if you're from Romania, comment on this video because this is such a huge memory unlocked or something. I don't know how to describe it, but this is so similar to what we grew up with. This is the second flat. I haven't been this impressed with something in a very long time actually. Since Vizcaya in Miami. This is my next wow moment visiting something, and I'm not that easily impressed even though I do seem overexcited in general. I haven't been this impressed with the tourist attraction in a very long time. Okay, and this is the next apartment. There's so much going on here. Wow.
This one is definitely more 70s or 80s because they've got cassettes.
So much detail. And you know, casual bag with stuff on the floor, and you know, it's not perfectly tidy, which again,
Far from it.
I mean, yeah, dirty glasses and cards and open cans of things. Yeah, so this is actually the flat that's closer to what I know from my childhood. The other ones were older. I think they were from 67, definitely the 60s. And this is a cassette with 90s music, yeah. Dr. Alban, It's My Life, No Limit, Boys to Men, End of the Road. Yeah, definitely 90s. Even the top shelves are full of things. Here? Wow. The sound is authentic as well. Wow.
But the candles are like original but don't look that old. It's literally this moment.
I actually still have that horse somewhere in my Bucharest house. And this as well, but in a bigger size. Who would have thought in 2025 would be so fascinated by some 70s messy room just left like that with everything hanging around. So many details. Look at this poster. I don't even know if I can show that on YouTube. This was definitely a man because of the naked girl poster in the wardrobe. And then there's cigarettes on there on the TV with an ashtray and then an ashtray here. A lot of drinks. So he was a troubled man, most likely, with a great taste in music because this cassette was a banger. And look at the kitchen with the dirty dishes and the... Wow.
Tõepoolest, kolmapäeval kuulutas Tartu linnapea Ants Veetõusmaa raadio Tartu kaudu ametlikult välja joonistusvõistluse ja nagu ma kirjasin... It feels like someone just left their house this morning and we just entered their apartment and it's exactly the same as it was back in from 60s to 90s, I think. They're just different flats from different times. And they just left it like that and we can search through their drawers and just look into their messy lives. And here's the kids' room. I hope the kids were not drinking all these cans of Coke. And why is there this poster in the kids' room? Not the healthiest of families, I guess. But to be honest, the 80s were pretty wild. Yeah, so this was from 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 10s. That's when people were living here. And these flats are from different years, but quite similar, obviously. Not that much has changed. And from the outside, it just looks like a normal building that you'd think is closed. I can't believe this is just the first building we're visiting. There's so many others. So this might take us a while. I'm really hoping the tavern is open. Oh, I haven't been in snow like this in so long. honestly. And I haven't been this happy in so long.
The Estonian Open Air Museum, established in 1957, spans 72 hectares and features 74 buildings relocated from various parts of Estonia. This extensive collection offers a comprehensive look into rural life from the 18th to 20th centuries. The museum also showcases 14 distinct farm complexes, each representing the lifestyles of families from different social classes during that period. In addition to farmsteads, the museum includes a church, an inn, a schoolhouse, mills, a fire station, a shop, and fishing sheds by the sea, providing a holistic view of historical village life.
It's nice that they have heating in the houses and we can still visit them in winter. Hike I didn't know I needed in Estonia. Plus history. Apparently you can just enter the houses, you can touch everything. I mean, obviously you should be respectful, but the fact that normally everywhere you visit there's a barrier and you can just look at things, and here you can just walk around. Oh, there is a barrier here. But those flats earlier and even here in this room you can just freely walk around. They're so cute. Hello. So this is a school from 1877. I'm hoping it's warm in here.
The schoolhouse comes from Kuia village in central Estonia, and it was built in a time when education was heavily influenced by Russian rule and lessons were taught in German before switching to Estonian in 1892.
And now this is a proper shop we can enter. Hello.
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 So there are actual
Okay,
sweets here you can actually buy, but then the shop is so authentic.
We got some chocolate. I don't know if it's homemade, but I'm gonna try it. I can't tell if they're playing, if they're acting like an actual role in the old shop, or they're just selling in. These are like those jam-filled things that you put in your tree for Christmas. A little bit like Jaffa cake. I don't like it that much. Yeah. I don't know what they're called. But basically they're chocolates filled with some, like a jam.
Wow. We're now at Kollu Inn and we're gonna have some traditional Estonian food. We got 2 pea soups, and then the second course is some roasted pork. This is an authentic roadside 19th century Estonian inn that was brought here at the museum. Very rich and tasty, but it's really, really good. And everything I had in Estonia so far was so good. So really, really happy with the food. And now let's try our second course, which is traditional Estonian roasted pork. It looks incredible. Proper roast dinner.
We are so impressed with how they run everything. Just really, really nice for tourists to visit Estonia from what we noticed so far. And we're really impressed. And this is definitely an attraction that I recommend seeing if you come to Tallinn. Good morning from very snowy and cold Tallinn. Oh, and slippery. Today I'm actually on my own, and I'm gonna start the day at a cozy little spot called Pierre Chocolaterie, which people recommend for the very interesting, cozy, old Parisian decor, and not for the actual food from what I read. The town looks like a fairy tale, and I know I've been saying in my vlogs that I don't like winter, but seeing Tallinn in winter, it's hard to imagine liking it more in a different season.
Pierre Chocolaterie opened in 2003 and it's located in the historic Master's Courtyard. It's famous for its handmade chocolates and warm, spiced hot chocolate. The atmosphere feels like stepping into another time, with dim lighting, vintage furniture, and an eclectic mix of decorations. This place is incredible. This is my table. I got myself a chai latte and a quiche, but I'm waiting for a quiche. This is definitely worth a visit. You order at the counter, so there's no table service. People online were recommending booking. I haven't booked anything, but it's a Monday morning, so maybe I wouldn't be this lucky on a Saturday, let's say. I also got 3 chocolates. That cost me 10 euros because I think this is what they're famous for, so I should not be judging them based on the quiche. Good. Nice. Can't tell if they're homemade, but it tastes really good. The quiche was average at best, and the drink was not great. So maybe come and try a chocolate or 2. Tallinn has been shaped by centuries of foreign rule and independence struggles. In the early 13th century, Danish crusaders built a fortress on Tumpea Hill, marking the beginning of the city. Over the years, Tallinn was ruled by different powers, including the Teutonic Order, Sweden and Russia, each leaving their mark on the city's culture and architecture. In 1918, Estonia declared independence for the first time, but it was short-lived. During World War II, the country was occupied by both the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany before falling under Soviet control again in 1944. For nearly 50 years, Estonia was part of the USSR, but resistance never disappeared. In the late 1980s, a peaceful movement called the Singing Revolution brought thousands of Estonians together to sing patriotic songs and demand freedom. This led to Estonia regaining its independence in 1991 without a single shot being fired. Today, Tallinn is a city that blends history with innovation. While its medieval town tells the story of its past, Estonia is one of the world's most digitally advanced countries in the world. It is also the birthplace of Skype and Bolt, 2 companies that have shaped modern communication and transportation worldwide. It is also one of the first countries to introduce nationwide online services and declare internet access a basic right. Free public Wi-Fi is available almost everywhere, making Estonia one of the most connected countries in the world. This is St. Olaf Church. I really don't know if I can go up in the tower. It's closed. Estonian History Museum is also closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. No luck with the KGB Museum either. You need to book it in advance. Plan your trip if you're coming to Tallinn, because you definitely need to book dinner if you want to try specific restaurants. And also some museums are closed on Mondays, sometimes on Tuesday as well. And some others, like the KGB Museum, which is pretty famous, need pre-booking. Since I didn't have much luck with the museums, I found the perfect spot to warm up with a medieval elk soup. This tavern is right in the middle of Town Hall Square, and it was such an incredible surprise. Walking in feels like stepping into another world. Everything is candlelit, the staff stays in character, and the whole place looks straight out of a medieval fantasy. If you love movies like The Lord of the Rings, you will love this place. And the soup was amazing. If you come to Tallinn, do not miss that place. It's right in the central square. It was really nice quality. It was 5 euros. Great stop in between visiting places. Wandering around the old town, I stumbled upon the Town Hall Pharmacy, which is one of the oldest continuously operating pharmacies in Europe, with a history dating back to at least 1422. Stepping inside is like a journey back in time. The shelves are lined with ancient jars and medical instruments, showcasing centuries-old remedies. Historically, this pharmacy was more than just a place to get medicine. It was a social hub where locals would gather, share news, and even enjoy a glass of wine. We got our drinks and a bag of meat. Can't really see it, but it's like beef jerky. The menu is very much meat-based, obviously. They do have vegetarian options,
And vegan. Lentil
And
dishes.
vegan, yeah. Apples, bread and soup. This is so impressive. I thought it was more like a tourist trap kind of place, but it's not. It's actually awesome. So this is herbal beer. I don't like beer normally. This is really good. It's like a beer with a hint of Jägermeister. And the soup is amazing.
Sauce, this is horseradish sauce. The pig sits on top of cabbage, smoked cabbage, sauerkraut like the Germans like to make.
Yeah.
I believe this is beer syrup and some berry jam for the lady. Starting with the berry jam for the lord.
It's perfect. People are acting, they're talking to you with my lady and my lord, and they're dressed in medieval clothes, and it's all an experience, and it's not a touristy experience, it's an authentic, really nice experience, and the food quality really is up there. It's really good. It's not hyped just because it's touristy, so I think if you're coming to Tallinn, it would be a shame not to visit this place. Even if you're on a budget, it would be worth just making an effort if it's possible to spend more here, just because it's really nice. One of the things to do in Tallinn. We're having some rose pudding, which looks good. Yes, everything we tried is just absolutely incredible. Do you know how really nice tiramisu is made with that velvety, rich cream? This is the equivalent, but with rose. Oh my goodness, it's so good. So Matt had this veal here, and I got this pork here, and out of the two, we both thought the pork was better. This was really good. This was very good as well, but just as a personal preference, just so you know. That was amazing. And then the rose pudding was also amazing. And the mushroom soup was also amazing.
The next day, I began my morning at the oldest operational cafe in Estonia, established in 1864.
It seems like the actual tower can only be visited in the summer, so unfortunately I can't enjoy the beautiful views. I paid €4 to actually go and walk on the city walls. This is the top of the tower, and all I can think about is how cold these castles must have been.
And here is a beautiful door to the city. Wow.
Well, since I haven't had much luck with the towers and they were all closed, at least I can enjoy this beautiful panoramic walk. Look at the contrast from this side
To this medieval side.
That is my everyday plan.
I then found the best cinnamon roll I had in Tallinn.
Cinnamon rolls have become really frequent breaks.
Through the old town gates, you can see the Viru Hotel. But this wasn't just any hotel. Built in 1972, it was the only place in Tallinn where foreigners could stay during Soviet times. For Estonians, this was a glimpse into another world, seeing tourists, hearing different languages, and even getting their first taste of things like Coca-Cola. What guests didn't know was that the hotel was filled with hidden surveillance. The KGB had a secret radio center on the 23rd floor, an officially non-existent floor where they listened to conversations in real time. Rooms were bugged, ashtrays had hidden microphones, and a direct cable connected the hotel to KGB headquarters, making it easy to record phone calls. Security at the hotel was tight, but not in an obvious way. Each floor had a babushka, an old lady who seemed to just sit and knit all day, but was actually keeping an eye on everything. Hotel staff were also heavily screened. If you had relatives in a capitalist country, you were automatically suspicious and could never be promoted. And if an employee was caught stealing or talking too much to foreigners, the KGB had a trick for that. A lost purse filled with red ink. If someone opened it, they'd be stained for a week. But this extended beyond the hotel. The top floor viewing platforms were closed to foreigners because the view was too good. The KGB feared spies could map out strategic locations like the government buildings and the passenger port. I have to admit, I almost didn't visit the KGB Museum, and I'm so happy I did. And the reason was that I thought I was just gonna see a few old recording devices and telephones and things like that from the Soviet times. But what I didn't know was that the actual guided tour was going to be this interesting. So the tour is definitely not about what you see, it's more about the storytelling. Our guide gave us so much interesting information about the Soviet times, how people lived, what was happening, just how things were during that time, and that's what makes the tour really worth it.